Tabiyat is the most commonly used word in India for physical and psychological health. It's also the title of a Wellcome collection exhibition in India about the particular ways that one of the world's great civilisations has addressed a universal concern, human health. My name is Ratan Vaswani. I'm the curator of Tabiyat. Let's look at some of the exhibits. This is a key work in Wellcome Library's iconographic collection. It's endlessly reproduced in India and around the world. One of the reasons it's reproduced so often is that this is the only known historical illustration showing the interior of the human body as understood in Ayurveda. The organs and the channels are not anatomically accurate, but unlike pictures showing chakras, the body and its contents are presented in biological terms. This is a drawing from an 18th century manuscript, which is a copy of Tasri-i-Mansuri, which means Mansur's anatomy. The original work was written in Persia in 1386 CE. It illustrates each of the body's systems in a standard way. A circular-headed figure faces the viewer with legs bent, hands on thighs, and internal organs labelled with text. This image is similar to the previous one that we saw from Tasri-i-Mansuri. The circular-headed figure is squatting in the same distinctive stance as in the Islamic work. The text surrounding the image is Old Gujarati. Body parts are labelled using both Sanskrit and Persian. Very significantly, though, the difference between this and the previous image is that chakras have been added very faintly to the spinal column, as is typical in images of Hindu meditators. At the bottom you can see various animals. These relate to Hindu iconography. Training in Western medicine spread under British rule. Some Indian authors attempted to equate the organs depicted in Western textbooks with tantric chakras. In this 1903 book, the subtle body and the anatomical body are shown side by side. This is a typical Indian depiction of the human body in a meditative pose, juxtaposed with the Western anatomical view of the body. Meditation practices have co-evolved with and complement Indian medicine. This yantra, which is a meditation plaque, uses mantras, sacred syllables or words, to focus the mind. It's in the form of a mandala, a radially balanced diagram that symbolises an encompassing wholeness. This illustration is from a mail order catalogue. It's an advertisement. A doctor and a patient in traditional Indian clothes sit in front of Western-style medicine cabinets. On the walls are Western medical diplomas. It reveals the early attempt to market Ayurvedic medicine as a modern scientific equivalent to Western pharmaceuticals. This is an engraving published in the Gentleman's Magazine in London in 1794. It shows Kawasji, a man who had his nose reconstructed. Variations of the technique survived in India over many centuries. A flap of skin incised from the forehead was grafted onto the stump from which a new nose was formed. You can see just below the portrait of Kawasji a smaller drawing which shows the operation, and then just to the right you can see drawings of the nose flap. This is a watercolour painting commissioned by Colonel James Skinner in 1825. It shows an ear cleaner at work. Ear cleaners are still to be found on Indian streets, but in declining numbers. Traditionally, ear cleaners would first scoop out the wax using a long steel needle called a chimti, and then apply cleansing oil with a spatula called a salai. This is a watercolour painting of Shitala Devi, who's the Indian goddess of smallpox and the pox generally. Shitala was invoked in a practice called variolation, which is a folk medical practice where a healthy person's skin was scratched and rubbed with smallpox crusts. And the mild infection that followed immunised against more powerful strains. So this practice, variolation, predates vaccination, which is immunity through the introduction of material from a related disease, cowpox. Traditional bone setters are amongst the most common specialist practitioners of Indian medicine. In North India, they're associated with wrestlers who developed a working knowledge of treating dislocations and sprains that they suffered. Many bone setters take the word Pailvan, wrestler, as a surname. And the Pailvan, the wrestler, whether wrestling or healing, is a noble figure in India. We see here Hanuman, the monkey god, standing on a mountain range. This is an episode from the Ramayana, the great Hindu mythological epic. Hanuman, the monkey god, is Ram's constant companion. When Lakshman, Ram's younger brother, was fatally wounded, the only cure was Sanjeevani, a magical herb growing on a Himalayan mountain. Hanuman couldn't identify the particular herb, the Sanjeevani, so he carried back the entire mountain. Tabiyat, Medicine and Healing in India, is at the CSMVS Museum in Mumbai. The exhibition runs from January the 12th to March the 28th, 2016.